Before I came to Finland for the first time in my life, I had a few strange dreams about the country. In the first dream, there was this girl with flowers in her hand. She told me that she worked part-time in a pet shop and part-time in the beyond. You know, the afterlife, the land of the dead. She was not allowed to say anything about the place. It was forbidden. But she gave me a flower, which she said was from there. You can keep it, she said. Just don't eat it. In my dream, the flower was a yellow and black poppy. Due to its intoxicating seeds, the poppy traditionally represents the crossing between life and death. The yellow poppy, in particular, is extremely toxic. If you eat them, you may die. In the Kalevala, Finland's national epic based on ancient folk tales, the land of the dead is called Tuonela, as in Greek mythology. To get there, you have to cross a river. On the shore, the dead disrobe and jump into the boat. In the Greek myths, the boatman is an ugly old man. But in the Finnish myths, she's a pretty young maid. Tonen tutti. The Kalevala was compiled by Finnish scholar Elias Lönnrot from oral folk tales and songs, mostly from Karelia, the eastern region of Finland.
Kalevala is known as a Finnish and Karelian national epic, and Lönnrot made 11 collection trips to meet with singers, and his first trip was in Kesälahti, Finnish North Karelia, in 1828. There are so many things all around us that we can see even in nowadays that they based on the Kalevala. I skied trail for other singers, skied a trail and bent the treetops. It's very beautiful.
At the time, Finland was part of the Russian Empire, and before that it had been part of Sweden for hundreds of years. But thoughts of independence were flourishing. The natural landscapes of Finland are a major theme of those folk songs, and they also became increasingly pictured in the works of major artists of the time.
The Golden Age was a time when there were also like Kalevala and Albert Edefeld started to depict everyday life in Finland, working people and boats and the lakes and in the forests, of course, just trying to collectively find out what it is to be Finnish.
Nature and folk myths were associated with independence. Even today, nature has an almost sacred aspect to many Finns, and it is usually listed as one of the things they most love about their country.
We love nature. Nature is a very big part of the Finnish culture and the Finnish identity, I would say.
What I like a lot is that we have a lot of forests and lakes and nature.
Nature and water, green, all over.
Finland is a beautiful country in summer.
Finland is the country in Europe with more forests. They cover 2/3 of its territory. Nature is everywhere, but the boundaries are not always clear.
Okay.
In Vilppula, trying to live in harmony with nature, there is a small community that still practices Theosophy. They follow the esoteric teachings of Elena Blavatsky, but with a distinctly Finnish twist, including old-style smoke sauna, and readings of the Kalevala.
The mother of the Theosophy is Helen Blavatsky, but in Finland we had Pekka Ervast. He was a writer, but he was also much more. He researched Bible, most the text of Jesus Christ, and made very certain not orders but ideas how we should live here. Be not angry, be poor even in thoughts, swear not, resist not evil, war not, but love all men.
The second dream took place in winter. I had been hired to be the assistant director in a documentary. Yes. But it turned out that the director was a disabled woman who could not walk. And my job was really just to push her around in her wheelchair from one location to another. At one point, we arrived at the edge of a frozen lake. In the dream, for some mysterious reason, she could not walk, but she could still ice skate. In any case, to me, this dream says a lot about the Finnish character, the resilience, their inventiveness in adapting to an environment that is many times hostile, their perseverance in doing things against all odds, without asking for help, not even when they may actually need it. The Finns have a word for that, sisu.
Sisu is a Finnish word. We are doing what we have to do, although it's difficult and the weather is so bad. We have to do all the things we have to do.
What best represents the Finnish character? Well, Finns love sauna, of course. More than a hobby, it's really part of their worldview. But to talk about sauna in Finland would probably require a whole new documentary. So for now, let's just say that sauna in Finland is everywhere. A little less known fact is that Finns love milk. Finland usually appears among the top countries in lists of milk drinkers per capita. It is common for Finns to drink a glass of milk while having lunch or dinner. They even have several cocktails made with milk.
Milk, 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 milk. And there is two milk.
Yeah. But I suppose that the main stereotype about Finns is their introversion. It's true too. In fact, it was hard to find people who agreed to be interviewed, and when they did, it was still harder to get them to say very much.
I don't know.
Finnish people are pretty quiet. We are pretty quiet folk and so on. Yeah.
Well, I guess the Finnish people, they might be very shy at first, but I would like to say that we are very warm and friendly when you get to know us.
I love Finland.
Oh my God, nothing is characteristic in Finland, I think, because we are divided from the middle, and in the east they are light and quick and people who talk much, and the west side is nothing to say. Or they have a lot to say, but they don't say it.
Kati Outinen is an actress that worked in many films by Aki Kaurismäki, perhaps the most famous Finnish film director.
Miten tämä vaikuttaa? Tappaa. Hyvä.
Many people think that the laconic dialogue in Aki's films is just deadpan humor. But many Finns really do talk this way.
There's something which goes beyond the Finnish borders in Aki's films. And I think it has something to do with humanity. People are made to help each other more than to fight with each other.
There's also a lot of music in Kaurismäki's films. He especially loves to use Finnish tango.
Well, it's already been quite a long time a tradition here. Well, of course it's quite different from Argentina, and so it's much more like it's more stiff.
Tango is that's one way of like dealing with the problem that I said, that there's not physical touch. There's a lot of like this little bit tension on like not having physical touch, for example, with friends, or it's like everybody's very individual. It's like if there is physical touch, it means something, and tango is is a place where that the touch it means different thing. It's not sexual. It's more about the connection.
The lyrics are quite often really sad in Finnish tangos, but there's this thing called kaipuu or kaiho, which means kind of longing, but it's kind of like missing something in a sweet way. When I was studying to be a musician, then in our school in Jyväskylä, Martin Alvarado came to teach us Argentinian tango, and then somehow that was really meaningful course for me, because it felt that there was a music style where it was actually a good thing to be that emotional as I am.
In the third dream, I was sitting with a group of people. We were waiting for the end of the West, because we all knew it was coming. The economy, society, everything seemed to be crumbling around us. We had to escape. But where?
We lost what we had. They took from us all that we had built.
It was never ours, we just rented it. Now we have to build it again.
What a bummer.
Oh well, I guess it's the end, baby.
Don't call me baby.
But how long?
Hey, look. Over there.
Huh?
A bus. Waiting for us. There.
What the hell?
Huh? Impossible.
It was true, there was a bus. White and completely empty. Hey guys, wait. There's also a boat. We can take the boat instead. I think it's more romantic, right?
Boat? Ridiculous!
Now, let's take the bus.
But I thought... So, one by one, everyone left and walked towards the bus. Well, almost everyone. Huh? Oh well, let's go, baby.
I said don't call me baby.
It was the end of the West, but I felt fine. This dream is quite clearly about a real situation that we are facing today in the West. We seem to be at a crossroads, and we must choose. On one side, there is an increasingly materialistic and hyper-individualistic global order where breaking norms appears to be the only norm. On the other hand, some hope for a return to more traditional arrangement and a less fragmented society. While in the streets of Jyväskylä a large music festival was going on, I went to the local church for a Latin Mass, and I met a few young Catholic converts.
Hard, kind of, because the culture around it doesn't support you. Actually, it doesn't support being any kind of Christian maybe that much, but being Catholic is a bit more like extremes. People see it as a bit more extreme, and they have very negative thoughts about like what it means to be Catholic. You're against humanity if you're Catholic, basically, almost something like that. But in some way, it gives strength that when you know that, or it just gives some kind of flavor or excitement that okay, yeah, I know that there is around 50 or 60 young Catholics also, and they are converts, and it gives some kind of like feeling that this is like, I know that there is so much to do in this country, and we need to build the church here, but it gives some like it makes it more interesting.
The oldest church in the country is the Turku Cathedral, consecrated in 1300. Created as a Catholic church, since the Protestant Reform it has become Evangelical Lutheran. The Evangelical Lutheran Church is the major church in Finland. For a long time, until 1898, it was the only church you could join, but even up to the 1980s, 90% of Finns belonged to it.
It's from the 1760s, church itself and the hallway that we just walked in and the tower are a bit more recent. So they were built in 1821 by the grandson of the architect. So it's a family project in a way. Back in the 1700s, there was a service, a mass every week. So every Sunday, and it lasted for 4 hours. So it was quite intense in that way.
Today, however, membership in the Lutheran Church has decreased to 62.5%, and even among those, less than 2% go to Mass every week. Then there are the Catholic Finns. They are less than 0.5% of the population, but it is, today, the fastest growing religion in Finland. About a month later, I joined a group of Catholics for a pilgrimage to the place of martyrdom of Saint Henry, patron saint of the Catholic Church in Finland. According to the legend, he was killed by an enraged peasant as he was crossing a frozen lake. From Ullane, where we departed, to Lake Kola, it was a walk of about 45 kilometers. It took us 2 days to complete it, plus a short boat ride to Kirkkokari Island, where a traditional mass took place.
Deus Pater omnipotens.
Henrik, jaloveritodistaja.
Onucis Virgo Maria.
It's not our task to worry about the end, and the end is good. So we should just strive to make it as good as we can.
In yet another dream, I was waiting in a line in front of a secret lab in the north of Finland, the only place in the world authorized to do human cloning. You just had to bring a blood sample, and from those cells they could make a perfect copy of yourself. But then I thought, why would I want a copy of myself? Isn't one enough? So I gave up and left. But the dream made me think about the fact that Finland has now a fertility rate of 1.26, one of the lowest in Europe. And it is also one of the European countries with more people living alone. I wondered if loneliness would be a big problem in Finland, especially in winter.
The drink for you now about evidently sad, evidently sad. My wife left me, and when my children is not good, and but summer coming, everybody's smiling.
On the other hand, Finland has been listed for years as the happiest country in the world, so they must be doing something right.
That's funny because whenever we are the happiest country in the world, like Finnish people disagree. They're like, no, we are not. We are unhappy and depressed. But I think we should separate those things. You know, like even if I feel bad, like in my personal life, I still think that I have every possibility to be happy here.
Maybe it's because of our quality of life. We are all, given a chance, the same chance for everyone. So maybe that is the reason.
I think that Finland is very trustworthy country. That when people tell you something, they keep their promise. And in schools, the system works. And in life in general, like when people tell you something, you can trust them, and in the government there's very little, how is it called in English, what happens very often in Italy, for example, that people can pay their way out of problems.
If you promise something, it's likely in Finland, if somebody promises you that or tells you that we're going to see you again, or something, like whatever it is, usually they mean it. They just don't say it like for the sake of being nice in the moment and doing some superficial small talk.
In my last days in Finland, when I was preparing to leave, I had yet another strange dream. I kept dreaming that I was waking up several times. But each time I woke up, I was always in a new strange place. And then I realized that I was still inside the dream. One time I woke up in a town that was supposedly my hometown, but it looked more like a fantastic version of Tampere, with silver high-rise buildings and huge waterfalls. Another time, I woke up in a dark nightclub, populated only by witches and ghosts. Another time I woke up, and I was in a tram crossing Helsinki. Surprisingly, my mother was there too. She said, "I love you." I said, "I love you too." Another time I woke up, and I was in a small town in Finland, living in a small little house by a forest and a lake, and working on a documentary project. I thought at first that I had really woken up this time, and that this was finally real life. But now I'm not so sure. Perhaps this was also all a dream. Just a beautiful dream.
Resterás con